Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over the Øresund to Denmark once again, and we're going to revisit a brewery that I was very impressed with the last time I reviewed something from them. So for this one we are going to go to Gørløse, which is in the northern part of Copenhagen, and we're going to have a taste of another beer from Dry and Bitter Brewing Company. So this one is called The Great Gig in the Sky. It's kind of sparkly and fabulous, I have to say, and it is a double, by the looks of it, New England IPA coming in at 8.5%. So the last beer I reviewed from these guys was the Hobo Chick, and that was a really nice one. So really looking forward to this one, and we'll see how we get on with it. So yeah, it's cool to return to these guys. I think it might well have been about a year or so actually since I've reviewed a beer from this brewery, so very curious to see what this one's like, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Dry and Bitter before. No doubt I will add some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Danish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Dry and Bitter Brewery then. So the Dry and Bitter Brewing Company was founded back in 2015 by the owners of Fermentoren, which is quite a well-known beer bar throughout Denmark. So this is Søren Parkner Wagner and also Jay Pollard, and this was basically as a continuation of the Crooked Moon brewing brand. But they were also involved in founding Ølkollektivet, which is basically a collective brewing space in Gørløse, which if I remember correctly is in the northern, kind of northwesternish part of Copenhagen. But there was a few others in there as well who founded that, but they went on then of course to found their own companies. But the brewery brew their beers there along with Bad Seed, Black Rooster, Gamma Brewing also brew there as well, Ghost Brewing, and I think there's a couple of other little ones in there as well. Flying Couch, I have a feeling, might have brewed one or two things there, but they do have their own brewery now. But in addition to the Copenhagen Fermentoren, they also have another bar in Aarhus, and both the Fermentoren bars have beers brewed exclusively for them as well. So there are some of the Dry and Bitter beers that you can only get in these Fermentoren bars. But today they brew around 200,000 litres per year, and they also host their own festival, which is called Fermentoren's Flying Circus, of course. And if I'm remembering correctly, the Fermentoren that you find in Copenhagen, it's on the same street as Kiosk, and just it's not too far away actually from the area where you find war pigs and all of those kind of things too. I think that I want to say that it's not Victoria's Gade, but it's that big sort of boulevard which isn't too far away from the main station in Copenhagen. I really like that part of the city actually, but Copenhagen generally, very beautiful city that, and probably one of my favourite cities in the world, I'd say, and also in my opinion one of the best beer cities in the world that you're going to find. So if you get the chance to go to Denmark, I really would recommend Copenhagen, and if you're a craft beer nerd like me, it is a little bit of a nirvana. And Dry and Bitter are one of the numerous breweries popping up there these days. There was, of course, it started off with the likes of Mikkeller, Toil, Evil Twin of course started there as well. Then you had Amar, who are one of the bigger breweries that are based in the city, but then you've got all these little ones like Gamma and Dry and Bitter and stuff popping up now. It really is just a hive of craft beer activity, so definitely go and check out Copenhagen if you get the chance. But that's all you really need to know about Dry and Bitter just now. Over the last little while they've been expanding their capacity a bit and increasing their exports and things like that. But yeah, they do some, in my experience, they do some very nice stuff. But if you want to learn a little bit more, check out the brewery website. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. But we're going to get on to actually tasting this beer itself. So yeah, can get rid of the brewery notes just now. So this one, as I mentioned to you, is an 8.5% double IPA. Just looking at the bottle, you know, you can see the liquid in this one. This one is going to be a New England type double IPA, this one, but very nicely presented. You can see it's a little bit sparkly and fabulous. I do quite like that actually. It's one of these kind of you can't really say it's a kaleidoscope. I'll just stick with it being sparkly and fabulous. There you can see on the back There is the Dry and Bitter Brewing Company symbol, the great gig in the sky, and there of course is their bottle cap, which from what I remember is the same on all of their beers. And it says on the side here, this is our take on a modern imperial IPA. We infused fruity American hops with the Australian Galaxy hops in the double dry hop to make this interstellar IPA reach even higher altitudes of hoppiness. This beer will take you to the moon and back. Brewed and bottled by Dry and Bitter Brewing Company, Gørløse, Denmark. So yeah, nicely presented beer this. So without further ado then, let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting. This of course was another one that I bought in Kiosk in Copenhagen, one of the best beer shops I think you're going to find. They've always got some awesome Danish stuff in there, and they've got quite a lot of American imports as well. They always make an effort to get American imports from different parts of the States, and you can often find some random things in there. I found some Swiss beers and some German stuff, and you know, some Estonian, and you know, they've always got a few random things in there as well from different countries around Europe. And I've noticed as well they've been starting to get one or two Australian and New Zealand things, so long may that continue. But yeah, as you can see with this beer, it's poured quite, I was actually thinking this one would be a little bit more orangey than that, but yeah, it's poured this kind of almost peachy, like peach juice sort of colour. There's a solid half finger of a frothy white head on this one, one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass there, a few little ones heading up towards the bottom of that head, but you know, overall it does look pretty nice and pretty much what you would expect from a New England IPA. And as I say, this one is a double New England IPA when it comes in at 8.5%, but nothing surprising in terms of appearance from this beer. But overall it does look pretty nice, and you can smell some of these lovely fruity notes coming off the beer just as you kind of sugar it around in the glass like this. But yeah, let's have a look at the aroma then and just see how we get on with this one. Ooh. Now this one smells very, very creamy, if that makes sense. For me, the oats are really jumping out of this one. It's got a lovely bit of juicy fruity quality to it. But for me, it's the malt base is the first thing I'm noticing in it as being unusual, of course. But yeah, lovely big oaty creaminess to this one. I do wonder if they put a little bit of lactose or something in this. Does it say on the side here? No, it just says oats, wheat, oats, hops and yeast. There's no like lactose or dextrose or anything like that in it as far as it says on the bottle, but it smells. The aroma on this one smells very, very creamy, and the oats smell really, really nice. It does have a little bit of that wheaty bready note, I will say. But yeah, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this beer before you get stuck into it. A little bit of grassy note coming off this one. There's maybe a little touch of floral character in there, but to be honest, that's quite minimal compared to the other things that are going on in the beer. For me, it's really the oats, as I say, that are the kind of malty base in this one is standing out. I wonder if it's a Lallemand yeast that they've used in this actually, because it really does remind me of some of the Trillium aromas in this beer. I really wonder if it's a proper Lallemand New England yeast they've used in this. But yeah, and the fruity side of things, definitely some mangoes. I think passion fruit in this one as well. And that's one of they say that they use Galaxy hops in this one. Passion fruit is one of the telltale signs of Galaxy. A little bit of pineapple in there. To me, the fruity character in this one is very soft and juicy. I'd say mangoes, passion fruits and pineapples. I don't think there's any oranges or anything like that in this one. I think it's very kind of straight up. So yeah, just as I always say, take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it. But to me, this one looks very, very nice. So yeah, let's have a taste of this beer then. So this one is the Great Gig in the Sky from Dry and Bitter Brewing Company and Gørløse in Copenhagen in Denmark. If I've pronounced that correctly, Danish pronunciation is a little bit crazy. But let's get stuck into this one then. Slanja, skål. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I have to say, that's a really, really nice beer. And I think I said the same about the Hobo Chick. It's quite cool with this because the Hobo Chick that they had, I really enjoyed that because it had that nice hoppy bitterness to it, but it also had that sweet malt base, and I've been missing that a lot. You know, there is a whole craze about these New England IPAs these days. There is a little bit of a craze about that, and I do miss the West Coast IPAs with the more caramelly sweetness and the slightly bigger hoppy bitterness. I have been missing that. But you know, it's kind of cool with this. It shows you this brewery can do both sides of the IPA coin. This is just a really, really nice beer, this one. And yeah, like I was picking up in the aroma, the malt base in this one I think is really nice. It's got a very creamy sort of flavour to it. I'm surprised there's not dextrose or lactose or something, well, not lactose, dextrose or dextrin sugars and these different things that they can add to the New England IPAs in this one, because it has the malt base in this one is one of the more creamy ones that I've come across actually. But I will say straight away to this, big thumbs up to Dry and Bitter Brewing again. They've pulled off another really, really solid beer in my opinion. But yeah, let's break this down then. So you can feel that pale malt quality, that just blankets the middle of your palate. On top of that, you can feel that there's a slightly thicker white bready note to this beer, and in the centre of your palate you can feel the sort of oaty kind of creamy notes coming out of this beer, and I think there's a little touch of biscuit to this one, but that's quite minimal. I think this beer is more about the oaty creaminess, and generally that mouthfeel in the centre of your palate I think is a little bit creamier than some of the other New England IPAs that I've had in recent times. But to me the malt base is really nice. It's the sort of creaminess that makes this one a little bit unique to me, I would say. But yeah, hoppy side of things is interesting as well. Back corners of the palate, teeny little bit of earthiness in there. As you come further forward along the sides of the tongue, you've got a little bit of a slightly spicy floral aromatic note to this one. I wonder if they've put a little bit of Chinook in here, to be honest with you, because of the way that it has a little touch of, or it could be Columbus. Maybe it's Columbus actually. I think I'm more tempted to go with Columbus now that I think about it more. I always like guessing the hops with these beers when they don't tell you what ones are in it. They're saying they've put some American hops in here. It could be either like a CTZ mixture, Columbus, Tomahawk and Zeus, or it could just be straight up Columbus, because it does have, the Columbus has a very distinctive, quite spicy floral quality to it, and I'm picking that up in this one. I don't think it's quite dank enough to be pine resins. My first thought was Chinook, but if it was Chinook, I think there'd be a little bit more of a grapefruit presence rather in this beer. I think they've used Columbus in this one as the bittering hop. But as you go round the front curve of the palate there, it's got a nice little bit of a grassy, there's that little bit of that grassy citrusy ester coming out as well. But the hops, again, not so much surprising, but behind the front curve of the tongue, you've got that nice oily bubble there where the nice juicy fruity esters come out, and that's where your galaxy really is starting to shine. Yeah, I don't think there's Citra being used in this one, I'll say that. The flavour in this one for me is very much, it's quite, there is a little bit of mango in there, but it's very much, I think there's quite a bit of passion fruit going around in this one, so maybe they've added a bit of Simcoe to this beer. It could be Simcoe and Galaxy that they've used in this one. Both of those hops, of course, will give you some nice passion fruit. As you go further into the aftertaste of this beer, I think there's a little bit of a pineapple-y note coming out of it too. But you know, overall, it's very nice, this beer. It's very, very smooth, and you know, that passion fruit and oaty combination that this beer has going on is very, very nice. I like how everything just kind of combines flavour-wise in this beer. This is one of these ones where it's all about how the flavours kind of blend together. When I had a quick look at this on Rate Beer earlier on, it had a 95 overall, and I can definitely see why it gets that rating. To me, that's kind of well deserved. This is definitely one of the more creamy IPAs that I've had recently. It actually reminds me a little bit of the Brewski Passion Fever that you get from Brewski in Helsingborg. It kind of has a similar vibe to that, this one, and at 8.5% it does cover its alcohol fairly well. To be honest, in my opinion, when you get to the sort of 8.5% mark, that's when you really struggle to cover up the alcohol with just a simple kind of oat and wheat base. I think at that point you really need to put some caramel in it or something like that, just to give the booziness a little bit of sweetness. So for me, this is the very limit of what you can do, I think, with these New England IPAs. But the malt base on this one, like I said, is nice and creamy. So as I say, a big thumbs up to Dry and Bitter Brewing on this one. They've pulled off another nice beer, and it kind of shows, like I was saying, that they can do both the West Coast and the New England side of the coin. But really, I don't think I've had a black IPA from these guys. I'd love to see what they could do with a black Imperial IPA with a bit of caramel in it. I'd love to see them come up with something like that. So maybe that's something for them to think about in the future. The black IPA and the Cascadian Dark, of course, as well. They have become a little bit forgotten styles in comparison to the New England IPAs, which is a shame. And the West Coast IPAs have been forgotten as well. But yeah, in terms of the mouthfeel then, mid-bodied beer, carbonation's very smooth. The mouthfeel overall for me is quite creamy in this one. It's got a nice bit of smoothness to it as well, and I would say yeah, nice little bit of smoothness, like I was saying. A lot of juicy fruit to this one, mainly passion fruit for me, but a little bit of pineapple or something too. There could be a little touch of mango, but I think mainly passion fruit. It's got a nice little bit of spicy floral bitterness to it, this one, but it's not going to blow your head off in terms of IBUs. At most, yeah, I think you're somewhere around the 30 IBU mark, probably lower than that actually, maybe around the 20-25 IBU mark with this beer, which is kind of common ground for this style. But as I say, nice little bit of spicy bitterness to this beer. Some nice juicy fruity qualities to it as well, like I was saying. But overall, it's a really solid double New England IPA, this one. As I say, Dry and Bitter, one of the very good breweries popping up in Copenhagen and Denmark these days. And they do some great stuff. So if you get the chance to try this one, have a go at it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. In the 95 rating that it has on Rate Beer, in my opinion, that is pretty accurate. I would definitely say that about this one. And plus, they've done a really nice label. It's sparkly and fabulous, so, you know, what's not to like about that? But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. The Great Gig in the Sky, a really nice double New England IPA at 8.5%. from Dry and Bitter Brewing Company and Gørløse in Copenhagen in Denmark. Really nice one, this. So if you get the chance, try it. And if you get the chance to go to Copenhagen, I can't recommend it enough. An awesome beer city, and this is one of the many craft breweries popping up there now. But until the next time, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Dry and Bitter Brewing Company, and do, of course, if you are watching in Denmark, recommend me some of the other breweries that I might not have heard of yet. But thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. The Great Gig in the Sky, an 8.5% New England double IPA from Dry and Bitter Brewing Company in Copenhagen. Until the next time, slàinte just now, and I'll catch you guys later. Skål.